My friend, I want to speak with you today about one of the most remarkable forces at your disposal. A force so powerful that it shapes not only your inner world, but draws to you the very experiences that make up your outer life. This force is your thinking, and more specifically, the quality of strength and courage that you infuse into your thoughts. You see, there is a law at work in this universe that is as reliable as the law of gravity. Attracts. This is not merely a pleasant philosophy or wishful thinking. It is a fundamental principle that governs all of existence. Your thoughts are living forces, and they possess a magnetism that draws to you experiences, people, and circumstances that correspond to their nature. When you think thoughts of strength, you become a magnet for strength. When you think thoughts of courage, you attract opportunities to express and experience courage. When you think thoughts of power, you draw to yourself the means and conditions through which that power can manifest. But here is what most people fail to understand. They wait for strength to come to them from outside before they dare to think strong thoughts. They wait for courage to visit them before they allow themselves to feel courageous. They wait for power to be handed to them before they claim their own inner authority. This is completely backwards, my friend. The strength you seek is already within you. The courage you long for already flows through your very being. The power you desire is the same power that beats your heart and grows the flowers in the field. Let me tell you about a man I once knew who discovered this truth in a most remarkable way. He had spent years believing himself to be weak, ineffective, and powerless. Every morning he would wake with thoughts of inadequacy. Throughout his day he would remind himself of his limitations. Each evening he would review his failures and shortcomings. And what was his experience? Exactly what his thoughts were creating. He was passed over for advancement. People seemed to overlook his contributions. Opportunities slipped through his fingers like water. He was living proof of the law that attracts. Then one day, through circumstances that seemed almost accidental, but which I believe were divinely orchestrated, he came upon this understanding. He realized that his thoughts were not merely describing his reality. They were creating it. The very next morning, he began a different practice. Instead of dwelling on his weaknesses, he began to recognize his strengths. Instead of rehearsing his failures, he began to acknowledge his capabilities. Instead of expecting defeat, he began to expect victory. And what happened? Within weeks, his entire experience began to shift. People started noticing his contributions. Opportunities began presenting themselves. His confidence grew, and as it grew, his ability to handle larger challenges expanded. He had not become a different person. He had simply aligned his thinking with the strength that had always been his birthright. Now, I want to be very clear about something. This is not about pretending to be strong when you feel weak. This is not about putting on a mask of false courage. This is about recognizing the truth of what you are. You are an expression of the infinite spirit that creates and sustains all life. That same power that moves the planets in their orbits flows through you. The question is not whether you have access to infinite strength and courage. The question is whether you will open yourself to receive it. Think of it this way. There is a mighty river of strength flowing through the universe at all times. This river wants nothing more than to flow through you, to express itself as your courage, your determination, your unshakable faith in your own capabilities. But if you dam up this river with thoughts of weakness and fear, it cannot reach you. If you pollute this river with beliefs in your own inadequacy, it cannot nourish you. However, the moment you open the channels of your mind to thoughts of strength, this river begins to flow freely through your consciousness. The moment you align your thinking with courage, this mighty current carries away all obstacles in its path. But how do you make this practical? How do you actually shift from a mindset of fear to one of empowerment? Let me share with you 3 steps that will transform your thinking and therefore transform your life. First, Begin each day by acknowledging your connection to infinite strength. Before you rise from your bed, before you face the challenges of the day, remind yourself that you are not a separate, isolated being struggling alone in a hostile world. You are an individualized expression of the same power that creates galaxies and grows mighty oaks from tiny acorns. Feel this truth. Let it settle into your bones. Second, whenever you catch yourself thinking thoughts of weakness or limitation, immediately redirect your attention to thoughts of strength and possibility. Do not fight the weak thoughts. Simply replace them. When you hear yourself thinking, "I cannot do this," immediately think instead, "I am capable of more than I realize." When you find yourself thinking, "This is too difficult," replace it with, "I have the strength to meet any challenge." Third, act from strength even when you do not yet feel strong. This is perhaps the most important step of all. When you act as if you're strong, you begin to feel strong. When you act as if you are courageous, courage begins to flow through you. When you act as if you are powerful, power begins to manifest in your experience. This is not deception or self-delusion. This is alignment with truth. The truth is that strength, courage, and power are your natural inheritance. By acting from this truth, you are not pretending to be something you are not. You are claiming what you have always been. Now, I know there may be voices in your mind that resist this teaching. These voices will tell you that you are being unrealistic. They will remind you of past failures. They will point to your current circumstances as proof that you are indeed powerless. Do not be deceived by these voices. They are not the voice of truth. They are the voice of habit, of old patterns of thinking that have kept you small and limited. The voice of truth is the quiet, steady knowing within you that recognizes your infinite worth and unlimited potential. Listen to that voice. Trust that voice. Follow that voice. As you begin to think from strength rather than weakness, as you begin to expect courage rather than fear, you will notice something wonderful happening. The world around you will begin to respond differently. People will treat you differently. Opportunities will present themselves more frequently. Challenges that once seemed insurmountable will become stepping stones to greater achievement. This is not magic, my friend. This is law. You are always attracting to yourself experiences that match the predominant quality of your thinking. When you change the quality of your thinking, you change the quality of your experience. But remember, this transformation does not happen overnight. Just as a garden requires daily tending to produce its harvest, your mind requires daily cultivation to produce thoughts of strength and courage. Be patient with yourself. Be persistent in your practice. Be gentle but firm in redirecting your thoughts towards strength and away from weakness. And here is something beautiful that will happen as you continue this practice. You will discover that the strength you are cultivating is not just for yourself. As you become a person of genuine strength and courage, you become a source of strength and courage for others. Your presence will lift them up. Your example will inspire them. Your words will encourage them. This is how the world is transformed, one person at a time, as each individual claims their birthright of strength and lives from that truth. So I leave you with this invitation. Beginning right now, in this very moment, choose strength over weakness. Choose courage over fear. Choose power over powerlessness. Not because you feel strong or courageous or powerful, but because you are willing to align your thinking with the truth of what you are. You are not a victim of circumstance. You are not at the mercy of forces beyond your control. You are a creator, endowed with the power to shape your experience through the quality of your thinking. Use this power wisely. Use it boldly. Use it with the quiet confidence that comes from knowing you are one with the infinite source of all strength, all courage, all power. Your life of strength begins now.